You're listening to The Sports Dream with your hosts, Ryan Thompson
and Joe Sapienza, as we're going to discuss the hottest topics in New York sports.
All right, good evening, everybody. We are here. It is The Sports Dream, episode 4. I'm Ryan Thompson, my co-host.
Joe Sapienza, how we doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good. Got some big good news for Mets fans out there. I'm sure some people are still trying to iffy about, not sure, seeing how it works out. In that, I mean that the Mets signed and announced former star center fielder, number 15, Carlos Beltran, is the next manager of the New York Mets after the dismissal of Mickey Callaway.
Thank God.
I mean, me personally, as a Mets fan, I'm playing the wait-and-see game a little bit. Because, I mean, let's be real. Carlos Beltran, genius baseball IQ. Like, real smart guy when it comes to baseball. But no manager experience. I feel like he's going to be good in the way he's going to be able to connect with the players a lot, I'm sure. But it comes down to how he manages the games is where he's going to need to show his stuff.
Well, they want to play for him. That's the first thing. Carlos Beltran, he's one of the great clubhouse guys in the league. We saw that with Todd Frazier a little bit.
Yes.
We saw that with Jeff Francoeur, just to name a couple guys. Beltran, as you said, he's incredibly intelligent, which is going to help the Mets. But you could have Joe Girardi, you could have Beltran, you could have Mickey Callaway. Nothing is going to change unless they address the bullpen. And it was just announced a couple minutes ago. My brother texted me. Will Smith, the pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, just signed with the Braves.
Of course.
So, I mean, that's one pitcher already off the board.
Yeah.
And they need to do something about the bullpen, or else it's just the same shit over and over.
Yep. But a couple other, big things going on with the Mets. The polar bear, Pete Alonso.
That's my guy.
2019 National League Rookie of the Year. 53 home runs, breaking Aaron Judge's rookie record. Home run derby champion. And he just had a monster season. Came in, was just hitting the cover off the ball. Like, his exit velocity is almost off the charts. Like, you're talking a guy like, yeah, he's big, but he's what, like 6'3",
6'3",
220-ish? He's hitting the ball as hard as guys like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. Like, his exit velocity is up top with those guys. And he's not big, yes, but not quite as big as them. So, he's just a special player.
This is what I'm going to tell you. It's incredibly rare to have the National League Cy Young Award winner in Jacob deGrom, which I knew you were going to get to.
Yes.
And the National League Rookie of the Year in Pete Alonso. And still only win 86 games and fall 3 games off the mark in the standings, in the wild card standings at least.
Yep.
That's so... Because it's embarrassing. Cause
it is.
My thing is, like, you see it on Instagram. Instead of congratulating Pete Alonso and Jacob deGrom, you have people making fun of the fact that the Mets couldn't make the postseason with them. You know what I mean? It's just... Sometimes you just got to respect greatness.
Yeah.
Back-to-back Cy Young Awards, man.
Back-to-back, no less.
Jacob deGrom is a master of his craft.
He is at the top of it right now, too.
Like, I don't want to hear it. He's better than Severino, better than Scherzer, better than Ryu. That was just random. I don't know why he automatically got so good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely insane. People need to respect a little bit, and just keep their mouths quiet.
Yep. Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see what it is for the Mets going forward. Had a big game.
Bullpen.
Get a bullpen. We had a big game in the NFL this week. For some. For others, maybe not caring so much. I'm going to say it. I'm not a fan of the Giants or the Jets. I'm going to say it. It was the finest toilet bowl in New York
we've ever seen.
that we've ever seen.
And the Jets won it, baby.
And the Jets did win it. I mean, it was looking like a close game for the most part. Jets pulled away in the end. Final score, was it 34-20?
34-20.
I forget.
34-26. Jets.
34-26 Jets. Daniel Jones, though, had a good game. He did what he could. It goes back again to the defense mostly. But on the flip side, some of that had to do, Giants' offensive line did not perform well at all. I did see one highlight from that game. Joe, I'm sure you probably know the play I'm talking about. Jamal Adams just ran straight through. I think it was the Giants' right guard. I think he just bull rushed an offensive lineman, a safety.
And he just took the ball.
Rushing an offensive. How does an offensive lineman let that happen? He gets bull rushed by a safety and loses. And Jamal Adams goes straight in, takes the ball right out of Daniel Jones's hands, doesn't sack him, just grabs the ball right out of his hands and returns it for a touchdown.
See you later.
Like, how does an offensive lineman lose to a safety on a bull rush?
I think as a Jets fan, Ryan, it was nice to see them get a win.
Yes.
Because they've been absolutely – because before last week, there's been murmurs that this Jet team is the worst team in franchise history. Like seriously. Like, I'm not fucking around here. Like, it's – the reason why people have been saying those things, because it all comes back to –
the front office?
It all comes, obviously the front office, but just all the headlines and the stories on Twitter and Jamal Adams speaking out in interviews and Sam Darnold seeing ghosts against the Patriots.
Yep.
That's the thing, because that game is going to be called the Ghosts game. You know how there's the butt fumble?
Yeah.
There's the game against the Dan Marino game in the 80s.
Yep.
That game's going to be called the Ghost game because they got their butts kicked.
Yeah.
By the Patriots.
By the Patriots.
It's just been an ugly season, one of the ugliest seasons that I've ever seen. And my dad told me, he goes, Joey, this is the worst Jet team that we've ever witnessed. One of the worst.
Wow.
But if they could turn it around, I know Sam Darnold was talking playoffs. He was like, listen, if we went out, the AFC is weak. We can make the playoffs. I'm like, dude, give me a break. Playoffs?
Playoffs? You're talking about
playoffs?
Playoffs? I mean, they got a lot of work to do because Jets, again, are another team. They need to work on the offensive line. They need receivers. Defense is there. They got guys injured.
Right.
C.J. Mosley's hurt, but
it's the same story year after year.
And again, it's I don't know if they need another coaching change or what. But
I don't understand. They want to bring this guy back. The offensive guru is returning for 2020. Adam Gase is a joke.
Yeah, he's not faring well at all.
You bring a guy in, and this goes back to the offseason, right? This guy, in 3 years with the Dolphins, he won one playoff appearance. He didn't win that game against the Steelers. They lost.
Yeah.
So one playoff experience with Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins in 3 years. That's the first thing. And then you have a Mike McCarthy that's available. Worked with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Won the Super Bowl, right? They won the Super Bowl.
At least one.
They've been there.
Yeah.
They know what it takes to win, and yet they go with this guy who looked like he was high as a kite during his press conference. Like, I don't understand.
I don't know, man. But
I don't understand.
I don't know. Well, let's move on to a couple teams, New York teams that are actually doing quite well at the moment.
Let's do it.
Hockey, baby. Islanders sticking to it. 13-3-1 on the season. 27 points, but only behind the Capitals in the Metro Division. Rangers started off slow, but, they've been winning games. They got, won 3 out of their last 5. That Panthers game a few nights ago was just not pretty. But I believe they did end up losing that in overtime, so they have points in 4 straight games. I don't know.
That's the thing. They just got to keep getting points.
They're getting better. They're getting contributions from a lot of different people. And let's not forget, Mika Zibanejad has been out injured the last week and a half. He should be coming back soon. You got Artemi Panarin, man, is just playing like he is worth every single penny they paid him this offseason.
No, he's great.
He's leading the team in assists right now. He's
making national headlines on
He's actually
Twitter.
not leading the team in assists. He's leading the team in points with 19. He's got 8 goals on the year.
No, Panarin's an animal.
And he's phenomenal. But it's also the young guys getting into the game, getting their experience, especially, Tuesday night against the Penguins. Adam Fox, defenseman they got from Carolina this offseason, and second overall pick, Capo Caco. I didn't end up seeing it, but I know they hooked up for the game-winning goal in overtime. And from everything I saw, as we all know, NHL overtime 3-on-3, it's pond hockey. And from the headlines that I saw, Adam Fox and Capo Caco in that overtime put on a clinic. And that goal they scored, I did see the video of that. It was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. From 2 rookies, one of which in Caco is 18 years old. It was beautiful.
Well, let's take a look at their schedule, see what they could do. Because you said they were 8-6.
Yes, they're 8-6-2.
8-6-2. They have 18 points right now.
They're getting rolling. They are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight.
Is that in Tampa or is that
That
at
is
the
in
Garden?
Tampa. But Tampa Bay's been struggling a lot this year.
So that's a winnable game.
I mean, they just beat Tampa Bay a couple weeks ago. So, they got Florida. They lost that game in the shootout on Sunday. And then they got the Capitals, the Senators, which is a team they should beat, but for some reason they can't.
They don't, for
ever.
whatever reason.
Yeah, like in the playoffs a couple years ago, that I'm not going to get into because it was embarrassing. And then let's look at it. You got the Canadians, the Wild, the Hurricanes coming up over the next couple weeks right before Thanksgiving.
If they can take, 4 out of the next 6 games, because, again, we talk about it all the time, consistency.
Yeah.
Trying to get as much points as you can. Listen, sometimes if you don't win the game in a shootout, you lose in overtime, hey, you got the point.
You still got 1 point, yeah.
You got a point.
At least.
That's huge. We'll take that.
Yeah.
It's trying to take baby steps with a young team.
A very young team, yeah. Especially on that back end. But, hey, guys have been stepping up. The trade from Winnipeg, Jacob Trouba, has looked great this year.
Absolutely.
Another young guy, Ryan Lindgren, has stepped in and really started playing well. Adam Fox, after that, the season opener, he looked a little hesitant, got his feet wet. Since then, he's been playing great. Brady Shea has, been having another up and down season. He hasn't really been getting going. He's been scratched the last couple games. But, Georgiev has stepped in and played a big role this year. He's been playing well. The offense is, still getting its footing. But you got some, guys producing like Brendan Lemieux, who's not a big point scorer, but he's been producing. Capo Caco's getting things rolling. He's got 6 goals on the year now. So
they need more contributions from all the guys you just named.
Exactly.
And they need these guys to be as consistent as they can be.
And get some greasy goals, get some dirty goals, get some bounces.
Exactly.
That's what you need from your
Exactly.
third and fourth line type guys. Whereas you got Panarin out here, he's just
animal.
The man's a wizard, as far as I'm concerned. Like I saw him score a goal. I forget what game it was.
He's up there with Matty Barzal.
I think it was. What game was it? I think it was the Tampa Bay game a couple weeks ago. He scored a goal where the pass came from behind the net, and he had a defender on him, and he just snapped off a quick little wrist shot and right past the goalie. It was beautiful.
Ryan, I just have some news for you real quick.
What's that?
Zach,
oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, Zach Wheeler has rejected Mets' offer.
The Mets qualifying offer. I heard he was planning on it, so that's not very surprising to me. We'll see where he goes.
We'll see.
But you got the other side of New York, the Islanders. 13-3-1 this year. They're playing hot.
I've been watching their games as much as I can. I've been listening to them on the NHL app. Thankfully, that's free. I don't know why.
Yeah.
You can listen to any game you want for free, and you could either listen to the Islanders or like whatever team you want,
Yeah,
or
the
the
home or
opposing
away.
team. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. The reason why they've been playing so well, and I mean, I'm not gonna say like the sole reason is Matt Barzal, but oh my God, you said it. You said Panarin is a wizard. Matt Barzal is like Gandhi, dude. he's great.
Well, he's leading the team with 16 points right now. 8 goals, 8 assists.
And the play of the goalies, specifically, Grice is great, but the Russian Varlamov, I don't know how to say his name.
They have him?
Varlamov.
Semyon Varlamov?
Varlamov.
Oh, when did they get him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Varlamov.
All right then, yeah.
So the play of both goaltenders have been exceptional. And the power play, the production they get from the power play, fantastic. Again, they're being aggressive, they're playing hot, and
yeah, 22.6% power play. That's pretty good.
And they're what they're doing, instead of playing passive, they're being aggressive, which is great. It's great to see. 13-3, Ryan.
Yep, 27 points, only behind the Capitals in the Metro Division.
But this is what they do. I mean, they haven't started off this hot in a while, which is surprising.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
If they can keep it consistent.
If they can keep it consistent.
Yep.
But we've seen it in previous years where they've gotten off to a good start, and then towards the end, come playoff time, they'll start slipping away a little bit. And going into the playoffs, they'll have zero momentum.
Yep.
I mean, thankfully they beat the Penguins last year in the first round, but they got swept in the second round last year.
Yeah.
So keep it consistent. See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's the name of the game. All right. Let's switch gears. NBA. Unfortunately, 2 struggling teams in New York right now. The Knicks, obviously not much expectations.
Yeah, let's not even go there.
RJ Barrett is still doing good. I mean, hey, they did go into Dallas and beat the Mavericks not too long ago. That's something to, that's a little feather in your cap right there on a pretty much season that they're not expecting to really do a whole lot.
I mean, they're young, you know what I mean? They're
are
so young.
Yeah. So, 2-9, but they are really just they're kind of a mess right now. They are.
They're a joke.
I mean,
embarrassment.
They got they got a lot of stuff to figure out, but I think RJ Barrett is a very good piece to build around in the future. But
you imagine if they got Durant and Kyrie this past summer, because when I originally saw the reports, there was a part of me that thought they were actually going to come to New York, because they got rid of Porzingis, they traded Tim Hardaway Jr., they got rid of Courtney Lee. All these guys they traded away to free up the cap space to get them, to get Durant and to get Kyrie.
And it didn't happen.
Obviously, not only didn't happen, but the way everything played out was just embarrassing. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. All the headlines they got.
Yeah, well, Kyrie and Kevin Durant are in Brooklyn.
Thank God.
It's see, here's the thing with Brooklyn this year. It's kind of a tale of 2 sides of the court with them. I know Karis LeVert did have surgery on his thumb. They said today he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. They did sign Amon Shumpert.
Which is great. He's a nice piece.
He's a nice piece. But it's so hard as a fan with the Nets right now because it's not even just a tale of like 2 seasons, game to game.
They need to figure out their identity.
That's what it is. It's a tale of 2 sides of the court right now because this team is second in the league in points per game at 119. They're top 5 in the league in offensive efficiency. They're 3rd in the league in rebounds per game with almost 47.
So they're scoring. They're scoring a lot, and they're scoring fast.
But then here's the other side of the court. Second in the league for points allowed at 121.4.
They have to tighten up that defense.
They need to tighten up the defense and limit the turnovers. That's the 2 things that are killing the Nets right now. Our defense because they are giving up the second most points in the league by tenths. Number one in the league is the Bucks at 119.9. Nets are second at 119.2. So by, tenths of a point.
Let me ask you a question.
And they got to limit the turnovers.
I'm going to ask you a question. So, going back to when Kyrie was playing in Boston, you would think that he was in a great position, man. With all the talent that's surrounding him.
Yeah.
That surrounded him at the time with Hayward. Obviously, Hayward was hurt for a while. But Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Who else was? Oh, Smart. Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart.
You can't help but think. I'm not going to listen. Kyrie isn't the problem. He's not the problem. But the man wanted his own team. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. He has his own team now. Obviously Durant's not with him yet, but you have to think, what is Brooklyn's, how am I going to word this? How is Kyrie gonna be a leader with these young guys?
Mm-hmm.
How is he? Because if he wants it to be his team, because they got to win some of these games. Because last night, I'm not gonna lie, I also bet on the Nets the other night when they when they lost. They lost to the Jazz, right?
Yeah, 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and that was gone in about a minute and a half.
So what did they need to do, Ryan? Seriously, what did they need to do?
They need to play better defensively. They need to get stops defensively. Because that's what it is. Again, the other night against the Jazz, they had an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Start of the fourth quarter, first minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. You would think, oh, who brought the Jazz back? Donovan Mitchell? No. Wasn't Donovan Mitchell. Wasn't their superstar. It was Jeff Green.
Wasn't Rudy Gobert.
Wasn't Gobert. They weren't even on the floor. Donovan Mitchell and Gobert, their two best players, were on the bench.
That's a problem.
And they lost an 8-point lead to Jeff Green and Ricky Rubio.
My thing is, and I know you don't want to hear this as a Nets fan, but when these kind of losses, when they happen more than not, when they happen pretty often, it leads to chemistry issues.
Yep.
It leads to problems inside the locker room. It leads.
Oh, sorry, I my mistake. It wasn't Rubio. It was Emmanuel Mudiay.
Even worse, because he was on the Knicks.
Yeah, he was on the Jazz. Ricky Rubio's. They just played him recently too. Forget what team he was on. I got mixed up there. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It was Jeff Green and Mudiay again. But still, how are you letting those guys beat you? Bench players. You're letting bench players beat you.
And that's when people are going to start pointing fingers. People are going to be like, oh, no, that was your man.
Especially the media.
Especially the media.
In New York, forget it. That's why everybody's saying, oh, Kyrie's had it again.
Exactly.
That's why they're saying it.
They can't let this spiral out of control, because once it does, it could. Think about it. I mean, if worst case scenario, they might not even make the postseason. Obviously, it's very early.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to psych you out or anything or freak you out, but they gotta start winning. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And they gotta do it fast.
Rubio's on the Suns. That's right. Yeah, they got smacked around by the Suns.
Yeah.
Ugh, that was ugly. Best game they played so far this season, I think, was the start of this road trip against Portland. When they won 119-115 despite Damian Lillard dropping 60.
Let's take a look at their schedule, Ryan.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's not going well for them. Why not take a look at the schedule?
I mean, it says they beat the Rockets, right? They beat Houston. Was that in Houston?
No, it was in Brooklyn.
That was in Brooklyn. They've beaten the Pelicans. They've beaten.
Yeah, but the Pelicans are Zion's hurt.
They've beaten Portland, as you just mentioned.
That was probably the best game they played this year.
And their only other win was against New York in their second game. They've took losses to Minnesota, but that was a tough game.
That was a tough game.
To Memphis, to Indiana, Detroit.
Memphis, they should have won that game. They couldn't guard. They stopped guarding Ja Morant. Dude scored 36 points in that game.
So another tough game, because that was in overtime as well.
Yep.
Phoenix and
They-
Utah.
they-
So they're not playing bad basketball, I think. What it is,
They need to get stops.
they need to get stops and they need more breaks.
Yes.
They need more breaks. Every team gets breaks. It
Yeah.
happens with the refs. They get a couple offensive fouls that go their way.
Yeah.
They need breaks to go their way, and that's just not happening right now.
Yeah, and like I said, the one other thing they got to clean up, they're averaging almost 18 turnovers per game.
Which is
Not
no
good.
bueno.
No bueno.
Because if you look at the Celtics, they're the best team in the league.
They're
and
averaging 10 turnovers a game.
It goes to show you.
8 turnovers a game, that could,
Kyrie's former team.
8 turnovers a game, that could be a 15-point swing, give or take. Easy. Because you figure at least, no, more than that. 8 turnovers, that could be at minimum possibly 16-point swing. If they make, okay, give or take, they're probably not going to make every score off of a turnover, but you give up 18 turnovers a game, you could be giving up 20 to 30 points.
If you take a look, they played Denver tonight.
Yes.
Ryan, what do you? They're in
Denver.
They're in Colorado too. So what do you think? What needs to change tonight for them to? Because again, another tough Western Conference team.
Yeah.
With
That's for
with
sure.
the Joker, with who else on that team? Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. They need to win defensively and they need to protect the ball.
They gotta stop playing very sloppy. That's what it is.
Yeah, they're playing too sloppy right now. Like I said, they're hitting their shots. I mean, they did, shots weren't really falling too much in the Utah game, but overall this season they've been scoring points. They need to limit the turnovers as much as possible.
Let me ask you this: did you anticipate them being 4-6 right now? Realistically, did you anticipate them being 2 games under 500 in the middle of November?
Realistically, no. 6-4 probably would have been
6-4.
more realistic to me.
Maybe a 7-3.
Maybe.
Because think about it: you take 2 of those overtime games from losses to wins.
Yeah.
It changes the complexion of where the team is at tremendously.
Yeah. Or even think about it. You take that game against Memphis. Memphis is not a good basketball team right now.
They're not a good football team either.
No, they're not. I almost said it, but I corrected myself. They got a lot of young talent, yes, but they're not a great basketball team right now.
John Morant's great, and he's gonna be good. I mean, not
But,
that he's not good
yeah.
yet, but
they're
they're a year or 2 away.
Yeah, they let him score like 34, 36 points
That
against
can't
them.
happen.
That's
Against a rookie, I don't
by far his best game of the season.
I don't care who you are. That can't happen.
It can't. And then you figure the Detroit game, possibly a game they could have won. Kyrie went for a triple-double and they lost. How do you have a player go for a triple-double
and lose?
lose?
To the Pistons?
To the Pistons.
Blake Griffin's not even playing.
Yeah, Blake Griffin, I think, just made his season debut earlier this week. So I don't even know if he was playing that game.
See, and we bring it up. They're not only, obviously, they're 4-6, but they're losing the guys that they should beat.
Yeah.
To
Let's look at the. Yeah, you got Morris. Yeah.
Andre Drummond is by far their best player, and he's on the decline, man. You know, he's getting up there. Losing to guys like Jeff Green, to the Emmanuel Mudiay's of the world. That can't happen.
That can't happen for the Nets right now, and it is.
James Harden goes off and puts up 40, 50 points. Fine.
Yeah.
Bow your head. You're great. That's it. End of discussion. But Jeff Green, Mudiay, whoever plays on the Pistons, I couldn't tell you.
Morris, is it Marcus or Markeith? Does it really
I know
matter?
The one Morris is on the Knicks.
Probably Markeith then. Kennard. Who is it? Markeith
Morris.
Was that Tony Snell? Is it?
Yeah, Tony Snell. Kennard is out of Duke.
Kennard, but still, Kennard.
All mediocre players.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
There was all this hype coming into the season, and they gotta win tonight. They gotta win tonight. Dropping to 4-7, the media is gonna be up there. You know what?
Oh yeah. They got to find a way to steal one in Denver. Denver's a very good team, but they got to bring their A game.
Because, listen, if they beat Denver, that'll shut everyone up.
Oh, yeah.
It will.
At least for a couple days.
At least for a couple days.
Until the next game.
The media could just chill
Yeah.
and just enjoy the win.
Yep.
Enjoy the win in Colorado. Kyrie goes off, has a great game. Dinwiddie plays well. It's a shame that they don't have LeVert.
I know.
That's
He got
gonna
hurt
kill them.
again, and that really,
That's gonna
stunted
kill them.
his season last year with that horrific foot injury. Because he's another one. He was playing great so far this year. Him and Kyrie
I like LeVert a lot.
starting in that backcourt, they were doing great. I love Karis LeVert. He's still young too. He's
Great.
like 22, 23 years old. He's on the rise. He's on the cusp of being an all-star.
And when Durant makes his way back to Brooklyn and he's on the court playing again, the combination of LeVert, Kyrie, and Durant is going to be lethal. Absolutely lethal.
And someone you can't forget about in that, Durant comes back, he's going to be playing the 4.
Right.
Kyrie, 1, point guard. LeVert playing the 2. Durant at number 4. Who's at number 3?
Is it Dinwiddie?
No. It is the current reigning three-point percentage champion, Joe Harris.
Joe Harris.
Think about those 4. And then you put Jared Allen in the middle.
Jared Allen in the middle.
Or even on the DeAndre Jordan in the middle.
Oh, I forgot about him. I forgot about DeAndre Jordan.
But, again, those 4 guys, talk about three-point shooting. Are you kidding me?
Talk about efficiency.
Talk about three-point efficiency with Kyrie Irving, Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant.
I understand.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's great. And I understand they are a year away, but we expected them to make the playoffs
this year, yeah.
There's all this hype in Brooklyn. Kyrie's there. If they don't make the playoffs because they have the talent to,
Yeah,
they have the talent to. They did it last year without him.
yeah.
D'Angelo was great. Rest in peace in Golden State.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
But Kyrie is a better player than D'Angelo Russell. End of discussion. They got to turn it around.
They have to, 100%.
That's all I got to say.
That's all we got for that this week. We're, running pretty long here, but
Half hour.
half hour so far, but hey,
It's a lot for us.
a lot to talk about. It was. And, oh, look at that. One more mention. The Dallas Mavericks are in Madison Square Garden tonight. That should be a good one.
Yeah, we talked about that on the radio yesterday.
Yes, we did. That ought to be a good one. But let's get to this week's episode segment of The Dream, Part 1 of the New York Yankees. Hey, New York Yankees fans. How does it feel to be along the same lines of other fans all across the nation,
It sucks, doesn't it?
knowing that your team did something this year that they have never done in the history of the organization? Without making the World Series this year, the Yankees, for the first time in their history, did not make it to the World Series once this entire decade.
Fuck them.
How does it feel to know that the Mets
Yes.
have been in the World
Yes!
Series
Eat
more
it.
recently than you have?
I mean, granted, the Mets only had 2 playoff appearances, 2015 and 2016.
Yes. And
the
2016 was only a
A
wild card game. Wasn't even a series, it was a wild card game. And the Yankees have been in the playoffs just about every year, just haven't made it to the World Series.
2013, 2014, they had horrible years.
Yeah.
They were not.
These last couple years, though,
They were very good.
they were very good.
Very good.
But what we're going to be talking about this, tonight, position players. We were talking about this before the show. It's 2020 is almost going to be kind of a make or break type. 2020, maybe 2021 are really going to be big make or break seasons for the Yankees because they got a lot of decisions to make on players.
And Ryan, you bring that up. I wanna throw something at you real quick because we didn't talk about this before we started doing this. Did you see the allegations against the Houston Astros?
I did.
Did you see the videos?
I didn't see the videos.
I'll show you when
I
we're
saw
done.
some of the articles.
I'll show you when we're done. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and not only is Carlos Beltran involved because he was on the championship team in 2017,
Yeah.
but Yankee fans think that the Astros should get their championship stripped away from them, and because obviously the Astros beat New York to advance to the World Series in 2017.
Yep.
The deal was, I mean, I know we'll talk about all like the contracts real quick, but the deal was that the Astros never lost at home, right? And obviously you haven't seen it yet, but the way they like cheated was when a catcher, when he threw down a breaking ball, when he threw down a sign for a changeup, there would be a bang coming from the dugout. And I guess this camera was in center field.
Yep.
And from center field, they were able to see it from the dugout. They had TVs, whatever they had.
The TVs like in the hallway leading to the locker room or something, whatever.
And let me just say this, because not only does it look horrible for the game of baseball, Yankee fans have a point.
They do.
They do. They have every point. They have every right to go on Twitter and to bitch and complain, because if it happened to the Mets, if the Braves did that to us in a 7-game series, if the Nationals did that to us in a 7-game series, if headlines came out
about that, oh my God,
we would be furious.
The 7-line army?
The 7-line army? Oh my God, they would kill someone.
Oh.
They would kill Keith Hernandez, Gary Cohen, and Ron Darling would. They'd be striking outside Citi Field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's absolutely mind-boggling, and I just wanted to bring that up.
Yes.
But as you were saying, the Yankees are absolutely screwed come 2020 if they don't win.
Yeah, just
Ryan,
about.
you could explain that.
I mean, it's not a given, but there's a lot of big question marks. Obviously, this year, Brett Gardner, for unrestricted free agent. Didi Gregorius, unrestricted
free agent.
He's gone.
Didi's not coming back.
I don't think they're going to re-sign him after the year he had, albeit coming off of Tommy John surgery. But let's run down the list of names again of guys that are in arbitration years, which means that if they sign, they're going to be signing one-year contracts. But they don't necessarily need to do that. They can walk in free agency if they would like to. Let's run down this list of names of guys that are in arbitration years that the Yankees need to make decisions on whether or not they're going to sign to long-term contracts.
Because they can't sign everyone.
Because they can't sign everybody, you would think. But who knows? But let's just run down the list of names. Yankees fans, I'm sure you know them. Miguel Andujar, Greg Bird, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, and let's just mention DJ LeMahieu, unrestricted free agent after 2020.
Who had a great year, by the way. DJ
Who had
LeMahieu.
an amazing year. Phenomenal. The Mets should have signed him. I mean, I guess it was probably money reasons why the Rockies didn't, because, dude, batting championship, Gold Glover.
Great.
He's amazing.
Great.
But think about this. That's the heart of their lineup. Andujar, Greg Bird, who has been injured a lot the last couple of years, Aaron Judge, biggest bat in their lineup.
He's the stud of the team.
Gary Sanchez, and Gleyber Torres. That's the core of their team.
It's the foundation.
The foundation of their team are all in arbitration. I think Torres, is only on his first year of arbitration. But these other guys are coming soon. At the latest, 2022-2023 will be restricted free agents if the Yankees do not sign them to more than just, arbitration contracts.
Right.
So, what do the Yankees do from here? Like, who do you sign? Who do you not? Like, what do you do in this situation if you're the Yankees?
So, first things first, they need to figure out if they're going to sign Garrett Cole, because apparently they're the front runner.
Are they? Okay.
Which really sucks for us. But that's besides the point.
But that'll tie up a lot of money.
You give Garrett Cole $330 million, $300 million, whatever it is, because he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
After the year he just had. My opinion, solely my opinion, I think he probably should have won the Cy Young instead of Verlander. All due respect to Justin Verlander, but Garrett Cole did not lose a game from the middle of May to, I believe, the end of October.
Yeah.
I saw that statistic. Joe Buck brought it up during a World Series game. That is that's like Jacob deGrom history, you know?
Yep. So after that, then you would think, Aaron Judge, I think, is the guy they have to.
Yeah, right. Well, they gotta lock up the face of the franchise,
Yeah.
Aaron Judge.
And, because he's going to command a lot of money. What do you do after that? Like I said, Torres, big piece of that team. And Duhar is a big piece of that team. That's, their infield, basically.
Right.
And Duhar and Torres, essentially they're going to be. And Duhar is going to be what? Their shortstop now, I would think, right? Or is it Torres was playing shortstop?
What they're going to do, this is just what I've read online. You put Glaber at short. You keep Urshela at third.
Okay.
At second, you move LeMahieu from first to second base.
Uh-huh.
And then what you do is Luke Voigt still on the team? Like, where is he?
I don't know. He's not on this list right now. So I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
So then you would just have to get a first baseman. Maybe you put Stanton at first?
Yeah, but then what do you do in the outfield? I mean, you still got Aaron Hicks there, but he's
injury prone.
He's injury prone. Brett Gardner's gone. You need your corner outfielders now.
It's tough because Stanton's so big. He would be a remarkable first baseman.
He probably would be, honestly.
I mean, he has a great arm.
Yeah.
Phenomenal arm out there in the outfield, but at this point in his career, he was hurt for most of the season last year.
Yeah.
And you got to think, how much more does he have in the tank to put up consistent numbers in his MVP season that he did a couple years ago?
Yeah, Luke Voigt is still on the roster. But still, he's good, but you still got your core guys. You got to do something, especially Andujar and Gleyber Torres. You got to figure something out. You would think, and then outfield wise, Aaron Judge, you got to lock up.
They'll lock him up. They'll take care of him.
Jacoby Ellsbury is getting paid to sit on the sidelines.
He's jerk himself off. I don't know what the deal is with that.
He's been hurt. Clint Frazier. I don't know what they're going to do with him. He's another one that they're saying, yeah, he's got a good bat. But defensively,
they're going to trade him, and they're going to try and get a pitcher. I think they'll ship Andujar and Frazier away, and they'll bring in something back. That's what I would do.
Really?
If I were because if you think about it, man, they have all the offense they need with DJ LeMahieu, with Aaron Judge, with Gary Sanchez, with Stanton, with Urshela, with Hicks. They're loaded 1 through 9.
Yeah.
The reason why, and listen, I will say this to the day I die. Yankee fans want to talk shit in June and July and August when they have the best record in baseball. That's great. But the bottom line is, without pitching, you will never go to the World Series and win. That's it. That's it. You need pitching. It is so incredibly vital. If you have a Steven Strasburg, a Max Scherzer, and a Patrick Corbin in a 7-game series, because bottom line is the Astros were a better team than the Nationals.
Yeah.
But why did the Nationals win?
Hot pitching.
Thank you. CC Sabathia is not going to do it.
Nope. But so you're thinking? You said what? Ship out Torres?
Ship out Andujar and Frazier.
Oh, Andujar. Oh, wow. Okay.
Keep Torres.
Keep Urshela. But here's the thing. Gio Urshela is 28. Miguel Andujar is 24.
Based on the year that Urshela had,
you would still keep him?
I would keep him. I would. But you do have a phenomenal point. And not only that, they still have Torres, who is still incredibly young. Right? How old is he? 23?
Gleyber Torres,
22,
22,
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you take what you... Because think about it. If you could ship them off, their young studs off, and bring in... Who could they trade for, hypothetically? If you go around the league, can you get a...
Starting pitcher-wise?
Starting pitcher-wise. Yeah. Because that's where they like. Don't touch the bullpen. You have Chapman. You have Britton. He's still there.
Yeah.
You have Green and Canely and all these guys. Don't touch the pen. It all goes back to the first 5 to 6 innings of the game.
Yep.
Because Tanaka's not going to get it done. I'm sorry. He can't be the guy that you solely rely on to get a win.
Yeah.
You know, you still have Severino, right?
Mhm.
He's going to be back next year, full season.
Herman.
You have Domingo Herman, but what's the deal with him? Is he?
Oh yeah, that's right. He had those out. I don't know. We'll look into that for next week.
But if they could, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but I'm sure. What
Yeah.
about Felix Hernandez? Bring someone like him in for a couple years. You know, I mean, I understand he's on the older side. I'm just trying to think off the top
Yeah, I
of
don't
my
know.
head, pitchers they could potentially bring in, or like a Soroka on the Braves.
Yeah.
What if they give the Braves all these pieces because Josh Donaldson just rejected their qualifying offer, so he's going to be a free agent.
Okay.
Right?
So you would trade a couple guys for pitching. I mean, they got to make decisions on these guys. Obviously, we know that. You know what they're going to do. I think infield wise, obviously, yeah, they're stacked. I think it's center field is going to be the point of emphasis they need. Do they think Aaron Hicks can stay healthy for a full season? That's going to be the big thing. But
it depends what they do with Brett Gardner too, because I'm telling you, because franchises in general, they love bringing their old guys back. We saw it with Brian McCann. We're seeing it now with Beltran. The Mets did it earlier this year with Ruben Tejada.
Yeah.
You know, they love bringing their old faces back because not only does it bring fans into the seats, but it's just what they're used to and what they're comfortable with and what they know.
But Brett Gardner is getting older. He was not an overly efficient center fielder this past season.
I agree. Just Yankee fans love him. And what's his name? And Cashman knows that.
Yeah.
You know? Not that I'm saying Cashman's cheap, because no, he paid Stanton. He got the big bat there in New York.
Yeah.
No, he paid Chapman. I'm just saying, if there's really no other options out there,
as far as center field goes, and if you need somebody reliable, if you figure Aaron Hicks is going to be hurt, 30 or 40 games this year, like he has been the last couple years. Yeah, I don't know. So you're thinking Andujar out, and then what do? You sign the rest of the guys then?
I think they gotta pick and choose who's more valuable.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
So Gleyber Torres gets a contract, Judge gets a contract, and you would figure Gary Sanchez is going to have to get a contract. Is that about where we think we're sitting right now?
Essentially.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, I mean, MLB winter meetings come up in December, right?
Around there.
We'll see. And like I said, they still got a couple years on these guys. But arbitration is tough, man. It's, again, these guys don't have to sign those contracts. They do not have to go to arbitration. They could walk if they want to.
It's going to be interesting to see because the Yankees are never put in situations that they're going to be in a year from now.
Yeah, we've never seen the Yankees in a situation like this. They got, like I said, 2 years before pretty much everybody is either going to be in the last year of arbitration or all these younger guys.
2020 is a vital year for the New York Yankees.
For the New York Yankees.
But also for the New York Mets, too.
Yes. All right. I think that about wraps it up for this week.
It's a great podcast.
Join us again next week.
Thanks for listening, guys. Please.
Yes, thank you for listening. We have a Facebook page out there at The Sports Stream, or a little easier to find us on Instagram.
Nice.
The Sports Stream 372. Give us a follow. The Libsyn page and links are on there. We are also on Spotify at The Sports Stream. We'll be back next week. We'll dive a little deeper into the New York Yankees pitching staff and some of the decisions they have there, things they might be able to do.
We hate them.
As Mets fans, we hate them, but a lot of Yankees fans out there, so we'll talk about it. Have a good night, and I will post this as soon as I can, and we'll have the next one posted as soon as we have time to get it, hopefully next week.
Next Thursday.
Before Thanksgiving.
You got a finesse. Let's go Mets.